Do you think the UK is doing enough to tackle racial inequality?
You know what, I read a book actually, and it actually determined how the only way to tackle that, is from the other side, because there's only so much we can teach white people and people who have those racial biases towards others in order for them to understand how they're projecting that into the world. Yeah, and that's about it.
You don't have an opinion per se how it's being tackled, what should be done, what the state of racial inequality is like in the UK?
Is the UK good enough to tackle racial?
It's doing enough.
It's doing enough to tackle racial inequality? No, because those who actually have the racial biases aren't even able to recognize and understand that for themselves. They don't even know their ignorance, and that's why they live within the bliss, and they feel like so they can just say things about other religions, especially in the last year when you look at how EDL members are marching the streets saying F Allah and all these and then they hold those biases and they believe they have every right to do so, because obviously freedom of speech, but then it's like they aren't even able to recognize within that themselves in order to change that, so then the inequality will always remain. And because of how Britain as an empire has held itself up literally off of inequality, then they won't really, because it's like a pyramid, isn't it? When you look at those who are in the bottom, gonna be places like Africa, the Middle East, that these people they profited off of.
Do you think the UK is doing enough to tackle racial inequality?
Nah, can't lie. Not really, because when you're working, that's when you know that really there's something called racism. Because at work, even when the law actually forbids a lot of things, because they know the law, there's an undercover movement. Because I work in the human resource department, so I kind of know like a lot of things. So there's some really funny stuff that will come up, and I get to ask, why do you think that this person can do this? So why did you not think that the other person is the one doing it? Because you're actually racially profiling them? And then you're like, no, not really, that's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying, Karen. Do you get it? So but yeah, so actually, nah, not really. Like, it's just, I think it's just the heritage. It's been there and it's always going to be there. So that's just it.
What do you think could be done to improve racial equality in the UK?
Take out the stereotypes. Why do you think that some certain countries lie? Why do you think some certain countries, it's just a stereotype, like whatever you've heard, whatever you've seen on the news, whatever, just experience it firsthand. For me, how I work with people, until you do what people say about you, and then I can judge you. But you can't judge every other person because you think this is how they act. So take out the stereotype. That's number one. Give people the benefit of doubt until they steal, for you call them a thief. Until they lie, for you call them a liar. So just take out all that stereotypes and then it will be better.
Do you think the UK is doing enough to tackle racial inequality?
Probably not enough, but at least something is being done. Because I feel like where I'm from, nothing at all is being done. So it's just nice that at least there's the thought of putting something together. And I find that the black community in the UK also works a lot towards improving things, while in Italy, because we're such a small minority, that's not even a thing at all.
In what ways have you seen things being done to improve racial equality in the UK?
I've seen quite a few like events, corporate events as well, groups, funds, so like grants and things like that, which is quite good. Yeah, that's what I've seen so far.
Do you think the UK is doing enough to tackle racial inequality?
That is a very, very, very big question. From my personal experience, and I can only really talk about my personal experience, it feels like they are. It's a very complex and delicate subject of contention, and especially with Brexit and a lot of changes within the government now, I think a lot of people are feeling very hard done by, especially people, working class situations, people, who historically have had very challenging times are feeling really hard done by. So I think the government has I don't envy anyone in charge of these things, because it's like, you're trying to help people, but people are always gonna, find ways of nitpicking and saying that's wrong. And if you're doing things for, this particular group, why are you doing things for another particular group? It's really, really, really difficult. So I hope things are being done.
What would you like to see be done?
I would love in my lifetime to see a more united world, a more united Britain. Whether or not I'll see that in my lifetime, I'm unsure. We have our phones in our pocket. We have this wealth of information that we can access for free. We can't blame ignorance anymore. I think all that I can hope for is just unity, for people to be more happy, for us to leave bad thoughts, our ill will, our transgressions in the past, and really unite as a country, as a world. Because, I'll be the first to say this, that, when we get together, that's when we can see change. Change is very hard when you're by yourself, but when you unite, amazing things can be done. So that's my hope. In my lifetime, whether or not we'll do that, I'd love to be proved wrong.
Hi everyone, my name is Korede and I'm embarking on an exciting challenge going from 1,000 subscribers to 10,000 subscribers in 1 month. I need your help to achieve this. I am a YouTuber, I make great exciting videos, traveling, asking people about hot topics. You can check out my videos, subscribe, follow, share and like. Let's hit this target of 10,000 subscribers in 1 month. Together we can do this. Let the internet unite and let's make this happen.